So I get asked questions a lot, like how long ago was it that I began this entire sort of, I don't know, you can call it like a spiritual journey or something. But I think it all kind of happened from birth. I think everything just occurred from birth. This whole life has just been one moment after another leading into itself, right? Up until this present moment that we're in right now. So I found myself with an intense amount of anxiety throughout my life, just due to situations, past experiences, things that were difficult to process. And so I kind of fell into this whole area of spirituality and looking at it and trying to go really deep and understand what it was, what I am, how I'm a part of this world, how I'm a part of community, how I'm a part of society and this universe, this cosmic family, right? And understanding myself from that specific kind of modality and perspective. And it's not easy. It's not an easy task at all. But there's been a lot of different opportunities for me throughout my life, which have really assisted quite a bit with it. And some of those things are like meditation. I know I speak about that quite frequently here. Meditation, certain kinds of foods, Ayurvedic plans, right? I focus on these kinds of things, and it helps my mind in allowing it to be a little bit more at ease. It helps me to recognize the emotions that are present and to be able to sit with them, to sit calmly with these emotions and these states, and to just allow them to be. And by sitting with them and allowing them, there's no more struggle, there's no fighting. Sure, anxiety is present, but rather than adding more fuel to the fire by trying to fight it, or by trying to or suppress it through whatever else may be going on, I recognize it and sit with it, feel it, allow it, just allow it to be. It's there. And that's a starting point, right? Be able to sit with our own states. That's a starting point. That's what is actually happening. Those are the facts of our minds, of our lives, right? Our situations. They may sometimes dictate that we sit with uncomfortable feelings and uncomfortable emotions. And then by doing so, we gain some clarity. And through that clarity, we're able to minimize that anxiety. Not through suppression, not regression, right? But by acceptance, allowance. So part of my path was back in 2016, I ended up with a group of monks and working very closely with a group of monks. And I was appointed a position which is called Bhukti Pradhan. Bhukti Pradhan is like a spiritual caregiver for a specific region. Now, I'm located in Canada, in Waterloo, Ontario, and I've been given the position of a Bhukti Pradhan, or spiritual caregiver of this region. Now, along with these kinds of responsibilities comes an adherence to specific kinds of practices. So I'm obligated and accountable, and I'm glad to be. So it's not a pressure situation where I follow specific like rituals, rules for myself, meditation being one of them, right? Meditate first thing in the morning, meditate last thing in the evening, at least that in the day, and for around 40 minutes to an hour at each time. And this helps me to be able to develop that witnessing perspective, rather than being completely immersed and enmeshed with these emotional states, which they'll occur all the time. They come and they go. They're transient. They ebb and flow. And rather than identifying with these emotional states which come and go, I'm learned to identify with something much more expansive than those constricted states. And by expansive, I mean identifying with, first of all, with something greater than ourselves, and keep expanding that until we reach that space of what we could say is infinite expansion. And by that I mean it's a subjective and personal experience and endeavor. We learn how to identify with something that is beyond description, right? We say infinity as a descriptive word, but it's only a pointer. It's not it itself. And we develop this through expanding our minds, expanding ourselves, expanding beyond the limited capacity of our reflexive conditioning. So we expand beyond that and enter a realm of something which seems almost mystical, but very practical, very, very practical for ourselves. So it's an incredibly important part of the journey, I find, to be able to step outside of those constricted states, but not through suppression and not through regression, but through a direct observance of those emotional states. In my case, it's anxiety. That's something that pops up quite frequently in my life, which inhibits me from performing certain tasks until I recognize those states, that state of anxiety, and able to expand myself beyond it. It's an incredibly useful tool because that sense of anxiety or whatever other emotional state we may become wrapped up in, it's an identification of mind and experience and memory, right? So if we can expand ourselves beyond that sense of mind and those experiences and see ourselves as something more than that through a personal and subjective endeavor, right? We expand ourselves and we see it a little bit, we see ourselves more clearly because we gain a different foothold into viewing our life. And there's an incredibly great utility within that. And I'd encourage anybody out there to start taking part in these kinds of practices. They're very simple, very, very simple. So the background and of the school of thought that I'm with is it's traditional Tantra. The group is Ananda Marga, and Ananda Marga means the path of bliss. So the teachings all stem from the guru. His name is Sri Ananda Murti. So Sri Ananda Murti has some amazing works, thousands of songs, hundreds of books, countless discourses, and it's all very practical knowledge and information and exercises, activities, skills that we can apply to our lives to understand ourselves with more clarity, but also to service others. So that's some pretty interesting things. So I just want to say that whatever the emotional states that you're undergoing, whatever you're going through, anxiety, depression, any kinds of illness, just there's a way we can expand ourselves and see these states with more and deeper clarity. And with that deeper clarity, we gain a different perspective. We gain a different approach to ourselves, to our lives, and we can overcome these these obstacles for ourselves. It just takes a lot of time to practice, and I hope all of you figure that out and are able to rest in that space of self with equanimity or calmness. I like the word equanimous. That's a good one. Be calm in the face of adversity. And I wish that for all of you. Okay? Take care, everybody.